No, it's okay. I just want to shut it down a little bit, like take a couple days off before Christmas because
Yeah.
I just feel like next year is going to be such a busy year. I
Yeah.
just feel like a lot of things are going to happen next year. I mean, we'll see what happens with interest rates, but there's a lot of good things on the market right now that feel people are just waiting for because we're kind of getting closer to like the 25th.
Yeah.
So now it's going to kind of wind down a little bit. So
Yeah,
this is
what's
a
going
great
on with
time
my
to work
camera?
on your business
Hmm.
while this is happening. So a few things to work on is maybe, how many goals, like how many like transactions do you want to do next year compared to what you did this year? If
Yeah.
you're going to do it that way, like, what behaviors are going to change if you're going to be able or want to do more. So this is a really great time
Okay.
to kind of do that. Yeah, no worries. Um,
It's
any,
being weird on me.
is anyone else right now? I know that there's only a little bit on the call, but I know more people will come in. But anyone else business planning right now? I'd love to hear it in the chat.
Yeah, this is the time of year because it's kind of like, and especially right now, we're kind of at that point in December that leads are coming in, and 100% we should be calling the new leads that are coming in.
Yes.
And then unless we have like follow-up schedules and things like that, it kind of gets to that point where how do we follow up with these people without being sensitive to the time of year? And we knowing that, they're, likely not really fully focused on the real estate searches, a lot of them and things like that without coming across as,
Yeah.
just being insensitive to, and just being like so sales driven, right? And coming across that way, right?
Yeah.
So
I
it's,
just
it's,
like what I say usually, and I don't mean to cut you off there, but what I say usually is like, right now everyone's kind of planting seeds for the next year, unless they already
mm-hmm.
bought or sold or they have some sort of commitment contract, like
Yeah.
timeline. Generally, they're just planting their seeds for next year. So,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably doing a couple deals this month if you are great, but more so, I think you're really just planting like maybe new listings coming out in January, February, or kind of planting like some buys that will happen in the new year, maybe in March or April or whatever, right? So, this is a really
Mm-hmm.
great time because a lot of other agents are taking their foot off the gas. So, like Crystal was saying, if you
Mm-hmm.
could kind of message out just being sensitive to that information, like I think it does do well. Um,
Mm-hmm. And it could just be a general, like, you can text your database and just, so it's not, unless it's like, people that you should be in contact with despite the time of year because of where they're at or their situations. But it is just kind of like a hey, hello, you know,
and remember, you can just call
gearing
them
up
and say,
for
"Hey,
next
happy
year.
holidays." Like
Yeah.
you have a reason. It's the holidays, right?
Yeah.
And you don't always have to call or message, and it has to be about real estate. You know what I mean? For example, if you're talking to someone and you're building a relationship, and you know that, let's say something easy, their sports team won, right? Maybe you don't have that. Maybe you haven't talked to them in a while or whatever. But if that sports team won, that you can just be like, "Hey, great win last night." You know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
like that's a
Mm-hmm.
great way to like intro back, and so like there's so many ways outside of real estate. So when you're lead genning, don't just think of real estate. Like, yes, you have to introduce yourself or whatever, but once you have a relationship and someone establishes that with you, what you're trying to do next is you're just trying to learn more about them, right? Because when you learn
Yeah.
more about each other, that's when you become friends and that's when you trust someone.
Yeah.
When they're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on real estate, won't someone want to trust someone and have their best interest? So
Mm-hmm.
I think just getting to know people. If you're just transactional, you're transactional. But I just feel that if you really get to know people and grow with them, it goes such a long way. And like that's really what my database has kind of been now, right? Where everyone is kind
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah, you're Nick, okay, cool. I'm always seeing my clients, I'm always doing Popeyes, so I'm kind of like their family.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's great. And I think it's great too because we also throw events, and people do come out because like whenever you
Yeah.
throw events, it's kind of like that nervous thing where you're just like, oh, is people gonna come?
They
It's
actually
like it
gonna
doesn't
show
even have to be about real
up.
estate, just throwing a party, right? So
Yeah.
uh
Yeah. You're like, oh, who's actually gonna come, right?
right,
And yeah, yeah,
exactly.
there
So
is that.
I wanted to move on because I know I haven't done some calls, but I have been getting some incoming calls. And
Hmm.
one I got was really good because I honestly didn't even know who they were. So we played like this
Hmm.
little, like, I don't know who you are, why are you calling me game. So I think it was a
Yeah.
really good call to showcase on
Yeah.
this call because I know the last couple
Yeah.
of times we were just kind of talking and coaching, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Um, But has anyone, before I get into this, has anyone got incoming calls or are you receiving some? And if you do, what was one of your best calls and then what was one of like your worst calls? You don't have to share both. If you want to share both, great. But
Hmm.
I would love to know before I play mine because I think then I can highlight some areas there.
I think that's one that a lot of us when we get a call back. So it's remembering when you are calling your leads that sometimes you get call back, right? So
Right,
it's to answer those calls even if they don't look familiar, because I know a lot of us are kind of like, this day and age with all the stuff that's going on out there, we kind of second guess the incoming calls. But if you are making calls or recently had made calls, make sure you do answer those inbound calls that are coming
right,
if you don't recognize them.
right. I agree with you. And sometimes they come at the most awkward time, but it can just get, into like your first couple scripts. It goes
Mm-hmm.
such a long way because remember, they're calling you. So it's like an active lead, right? So you
Yeah,
want to kind of, it's like
correct.
someone in your store having their hand up asking for customer service, right? You kind of
Yeah,
have to,
yeah. Uh,
you
Nathan got a
can't say,
text saying they already sold probably further, probing further, appears they sold Fizzo.
okay. Well, remember, some you're going to get like that or some random things.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Appears if they sold and if they sold. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
if they're
But
looking
this
to
is
buy
hard now
something. Yeah.
because this is a hard thing now because the new rules in Ontario real estate where Tressa has been involved now, like someone
Mm-hmm.
can represent themselves during a deal. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to kind of see how far, and if there's someone that's trying to sell their house, then their type of mindset is like I can do everything myself,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it might not be a good fit. So keep probing, but keep in mind of that.
There
Uh,
is there is going to be always the people, yeah, and especially their Frizzo, they're going to need to buy something as well. So, and what does that look like for them, right? So,
yeah.
um,
So yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna play one of my calls that I got. This one was a good one because I didn't even remember talking to him or just I didn't even know who the number was. So it was
Okay.
definitely awkward, but hey, I got it done and we're still in contact now. And I've showed him. I haven't showed him properties, but we're setting times up.
Okay.
Hello. Hi, Nick. You just sent me an email. Sent me a text message.
You guys can hear it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. I just gave you. I think you got the wrong email. Can you send to the one I just texted you?
Okay. Let me go take a look.
Oh, sorry, the call stopped. Let's see.
I'm just pulling it up right now. How you doing though?
I'm good. Good.
Yeah, nice. Are you an agent or are you just a consumer? Sorry.
I don't know how you got my number. I think you got it from. I. How did you get my? I'm just a client looking to buy a house. I only talked to my realtor. I was wondering if my realtor contacted you and you told you to send you listings.
I was like, okay, first of all, that doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. So I was like, okay, so I'm like, at this point, I thought he was an agent at first, but then I realized like he's not. He's just like a consumer. And then I was like, okay, so he probably came through agent locator. So now this is me kind of piecing the puzzle. So when you talk about fumbled, like this was fumbled.
Uh,
Yeah.
Possibly. Who's your realtor?
So I challenged it. Who is your realtor?
Yeah.
I think he got the he works on tricycle me 3 flats.
Like,
I was just wondering how you got my number.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I have a lot of ads going out, and I also have a lot of people. I have basically kind of a website where people can browse houses for free, and then after they look at a couple, they have to enter their information into it. So
Okay.
I don't know if
but do you see how I'm upfront? And it's about knowing your service, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is why I'm piecing the puzzles together and it doesn't sound awkward.
I got you from there or there. What was your name? Sorry.
Danu.
So then what I did was on my phone, if you don't have the agent locator app on your phone, you need to. So this is where I opened up my phone because I was mobile at this time and I put it in his name and I saw his information and this is where everything starts piecing together.
Danu. Okay, perfect. So I know exactly where you came from. Yeah. So basically, you were looking at homes in, I think Pickering,
Yeah.
just on one of my non-branded websites.
Oh, okay.
So then
Perfect.
you were putting in like four detached, like you were looking at detached, like four different houses in a semi.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's how I got your information. I'm not like a creep or anything.
So I make a joke about it, right? Like, be cool about it.
Okay,
So are you
perfect.
working with a real estate agent?
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm working with a couple. I'm just trying to find
So keyword a couple. So he's trialing agents right now. He's basically like whoever shows him the property, he'll buy from. That's basically what he's at.
a house. Try maybe a pre-build or something that's ready to move in. But my budget is around $1 million. I'm down
Okay.
for that.
What do
I'm
you?
not.
So what are you looking for? Are you looking for just detached single car or double
Yeah,
car?
just a detached house. It doesn't matter about double car garage would be amazing, but if I can't get it under my price budget, then I have to go with a single garage, right?
Yeah, for sure. Are you? Is there a certain area that you're only looking in? Like, were you only just looking Pickering, or would you consider other?
Pickering and Whitby. Anything.
Okay.
I mean Pickering and Ajax, nothing further.
You wouldn't go to Whitby?
Maybe Whitby. Seeing like I live in Scarborough right now. This is my house. I'm not trying to go too far from here.
Would you consider like West Rouge, like Port?
You see how I'm asking him questions? Instead of
Mhm.
talking about the market, all this stuff, like, okay, I figured out where you came from. Okay, great. You came from this. Now it's like, okay, make a joke, make it, fresh again, and then start asking questions. Okay, what is he looking for? Go back to the agent locator script of like, what are you looking for? Price, all the stuff.
In Lawrence?
Yes.
Because that's a good area too.
Yeah, perfect. But I don't know if my price range would be good in there.
I think that you'd be okay because you said under $1 million, right?
Or 1.2 or an under.
Yeah, for sure. You'll be good, bro. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just gonna help you right now if that's okay with you. So it sounds like you're just basically shopping around, trying to find which is the best real estate agent that is the best vehicle for you. It sounds like it doesn't sound like you have anything written committed. Is that correct?
No.
I sound like a shark, right? Like, look at what I'm doing and look at a consumer. He's like, wow, this guy is actually asking me all the right questions. No one's really like maybe even going this far and figuring out what my needs are, what properties. They're being lazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool, man. I'd be doing the same thing and shopping around a little bit too. I'm just quickly going to be looking for you right now on MLS. But just a little bit about me. Last year, out of 8,000 agents in Durham region, I was ranked.
So I went into this to A, let him know where I rank, so let him know I'm a good realtor, and
Mhm.
B, I'm also like loading, meaning like I'm trying to look at the products right now while
Mhm.
like instead of it being a deadline, right? Like I know my scripts very well. I'm multitasking right now. I'm trying to go on the areas and things that he said on my phone to get it done and give him some properties and showcase even more value. Because remember, at this point, he's shopping around with realtors. So I don't know if he has a good one or he doesn't. Um,
Mhm.
so now my goal is to wow him in service. That's just what it is. That's the
Mhm.
approach I'm going with on that.
Number
Yeah.
39. And then this year I'm still in top 100 in Durham region. I mean, I also do like GTA, like Toronto, West End, whatever. Because once you find a good person or representation, you take them everywhere, like a good doctor or a good lawyer you'll drive to incentives and stuff, right? So, and I work with Keller Williams, so that's a bigger brokerage here. And out of Canada, I'm ranked in the top 20. So I buy and sell every day, or like every week for sure. So if I can definitely help you and direct you. I think personally, you might find a little bit better product in Port Union, Lawrence.
See, boom, back into it because right now I'm looking on the market and look how seamless that was.
But the only thing is you'll be paying like a little bit more in land transfer tax.
Letting people know about land transfer tax. I don't know if you with realtors know, I'm sure they do. But basically what it is, if you're buying in Toronto, you have to pay municipal and provincial tax. Municipal and provincial, sorry. So let's say if you buy something for 500,000, if you buy it in Toronto, it's about 12.5, 13,000. If you buy it in the GTA, so outside Toronto, you're only paying 6,600. So this is where I'm showing value, right? Like he's already talked to a few agents. I can tell he already knows, a little bit about the game and stuff like that. After I found out he wants to renovate homes, you'll hear that in the call. So it's like, okay, he's handy. He has people he know, but he's giving me time. Remember, this call originally was, why did you get my number and who's calling me?
Okay.
Because land transfer tax, like, so I'm not sure if you know, but how it works, and I'm sure you know, but just to refresh your memory, is basically if you buy outside of outside of Toronto, so not Toronto, but like, you know, York region, whatever, you only get charged half land transfer tax. So for example, if you bought something for $500,000, basically land transfer tax would be in Toronto almost $13,000. In like Durham region, York region, other areas outside or outside Toronto, they would be just half because you pay municipal and provincial taxes.
Okay.
I know I gave you a lot of information, so my bad. But
yeah, but
I would want to know, you know.
I paid. I know how much I paid for the land transfer, but yeah, that wouldn't be a problem as long as it's under my budget.
Yeah. So there's one like in Ajax right now, and I'll send you some more. Picture right up, but there's like a nice detached on Pendrell Way. It's for $865. I mean, you know, you have some options, right? Because right now the real estate market right now, I mean, prices are up small year over year, but right now what's happening is that, you know, we're still in a seller's market. There's about like 1.5, 1.6 months of inventory. What that means is like the absorption rate in Durham region right now. Basically what that means is like it's still a seller's market. However, not every home is selling super fast. And, you know, the reason why inventory is a little bit higher right now in this season is because there's a lot of listings that haven't sold because it's taking longer. Doesn't mean that there's no demand. It's just taking longer because there's some agents that are just overpricing their home and not correcting it, you know?
Okay.
But there's like, what are you looking inside, like specifically? Are you looking more move-in ready with better finishes, or you know what I'm saying? Just so I have a better idea.
Something move-in ready. Yes, exactly. Something move-in ready.
Okay, cool.
But
I'm gonna send you some opportunities.
I do construction, so like
you're not scared.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know. My dad was a builder. I'm Italian, so
yeah.
you know what it is.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Whatever I get, for my best price. Like, you know, if it's something else, if it looks nice outside and it's messed up inside, we can definitely fix it up. That won't be a problem. But it depends on my price range, right?
Yeah, 100%. But so you're just more looking more like cosmetic.
Exactly.
That you'd be open to. You're not going to be interested in anything that has like issues with foundations. Obviously, I wouldn't let you, but you know, I'm just trying to look at your portfolio and what your risk tolerance is. You know.
Exactly.
That's such a great word to use. And if you haven't used that in your scripting, what is your risk tolerance? Because everyone has different risk thresholds. And you sound like such a professional.
Okay, cool. I'm almost there. So I'm going to send you another list though, but just looking briefly, I think you should be okay to find some detaches under that number. I think that we can stay, like, I don't think we need your top budget unless you want something a lot more move-in ready. But I would be finding something where you can put your, like a little bit of cosmetic work where you can put some sweat equity there.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally, that's what I think, man, because that's how you build wealth, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, so I'm going to send you some opportunities, but dude, like you have some. So, you know, we'll go from there. If you like anything that I showcase to you in that list or whatever, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I'll just reach out to you.
Kind of go from there. Yeah, if that's okay, man.
Yeah.
And I think if you're open to that, let's meet and see what happens from there.
Okay, perfect. Can you send it to the new email I sent it to you?
Yes. I'll get right back to you, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks, buddy. Bye.
All right. Talk to you.
Look at that. That was like such a fire call. Fumbled hard at the beginning, but it goes like, okay, so once you know where people are coming from, and this is where you need to know about your service and how you're obtaining leads. If I wasn't educated about Agent Locator and where my ads are coming from and where it would have been so awkward. It would have been so awkward. Right. And then now he knows why he came on. Once I started talking to him and filling in the blanks, he goes, yes, that's where trust is. Then he gave me a second of his time. And during the second of his time, I started, you know, giving him information that he may or may not wanted or knew, but then asking him other questions of what his search criteria is. And then you know, figuring it out. But I think, you know, there's a lot of key points to take from there, but is there anything specific that anyone on this call took from that call? Like, was there any aha moments at all? Because there was a lot of great structure in that call.
There was. I mean, it was even like at my agents, right? So not letting, so in many cases, a lot of us would take that and, like, you know, and we get a little nervous. We don't want to step any toes. We don't want to get in trouble. Right. So, but by continuing the conversation and asking questions, right? So it kind of, and then by asking questions, kind of revealed his actual situation, right?
And you built such a rapport because like if you saw that call or heard it the whole way through, everything was
Mm-hmm.
just easy. I just found that yes, I talked over him a little bit, but it
Mm-hmm.
was because I knew what to say and I have a deep personality. So if I like think of something, I have a real hard time like closing my fucking mouth. Like I can't.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
comes out. I'm working on that. But
Yeah.
I'm so scripted that I already know where the conversation's going that I just want to get there.
Yeah.
And that's my
Yeah.
problem sometimes. I speed up that conversation. But
Yeah. It's just
yeah.
so anxious to say what you need to say.
I just want to say it because I know where it's going to go. But like, I'm sure everyone has been there before where you know where the conversation's going and you have to say these certain things to get there. I just want to like get there, but you
Yeah.
can't, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's because and then if you got a fast thinking brain, you don't want to forget what you were going to say as well, right? Because it's there and then it'll be gone.
right, it happens.
Yeah, it
It happens.
happens. For
Any
sure. But
aha
no, that.
moments from that call? Because I know we have like what I think 10, 11 on here.
Mm-hmm.
Came in to get some value. I think this call was a great value. And different from most calls because most of my calls were, hey, how are you? You've just come onto this website, coming from
Yeah.
customer service. So I want to showcase a different angle of a great
Of the
call.
call.
A,
Yeah.
a call that 99% of realtors would have just dropped.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable, right? As soon as it gets uncomfortable, that's when we definitely, like you said, you fumbled in the beginning. Like, it was kind of going, it was just trying to get that going. And then you kind of swoop back in and kind of got comfortable with the conversation you were having.
I agree.
We all fumble at times.
It's real.
It's real. It's real, right?
Real.
But it also lets you know that I'm a real person. I'm not a robot here. Like I am a person that is bound to make mistakes and
my
what have
my
you, right? And not
go-to
everything's
joke
perfect.
my go-to joke is I'm a real person. I'm not AI. I'm talking to you.
Yeah. This isn't the Google automation that calls you back.
Right?
Right.
All right. Since no one wants to share, I'll tell you a few of what I really enjoyed about that call that I think other agents can take away. I think that, like I said, knowing your product, I think number two also is your confidence because I was also mobile. So it was really hard to stay really present in that call while everything is around you. So at that time, I think I like pulled over or something. But I think it's just really asking questions questions about, okay, you have a realtor. Okay, interesting. Because if you have a realtor, why are you calling me? Right?
Yeah.
If you have a realtor, the realtors will be calling me and it would be calling me about my listing.
Yeah.
If someone's calling me, then they're interested about something or they've seen something. So I know it's coming from like advertisement. So it's like, okay, so now it's like, where is it coming from? And then it's like once you figure that out, hopefully you're scripted on that part. And the next part is if you saw right away asking questions, because that fills up time. While he was doing that, I was logging on to MLS. I was already on Agent Locator seeing what he was looking at that point once I knew, and then I was logging into MLS. And then also, I think another great feature is when you're in that middle part, or let's say you're on your computer, you're looking at something that, they're telling you their criteria, you're looking on there, instead of leaving it blank, I think it's really great to have, a couple lines, not memorized, but like really internally that you believe about your value proposition. And, while you're loading, meaning like while you're, finding the criteria, finding the product to them while you're asking questions, I think it's really great to tell them why this person specifically has been using other realtors. So now he's not a new lead that is not pre-approved because he already had a number right away. So, he's a little bit more higher in that stage. So when you're a little bit more higher, you can be a lot more direct because he's already had that experience. So, and remember, the difference between me and all 13 of us in this call is our service and our ability to communicate. Right?
Yep,
so while we're looking, I think it's really great to learn some value propositions of yourself to just let them know, hey, this is why if you work with me, how awesome I am. And if you don't have the numbers, I think, you should be talking about, some great value propositions of yours. Like, it could be if I was a newer agent, let's strip away my numbers. I'd be like, hey, well, I'm up to date with everything on the real estate market. You know, this is what I live, breathe, and eat.
Mm-hmm.
So once
Mm-hmm.
there's a new listing, I'll definitely be able to find it for you. In that call, I think I learned a little bit more about what he was looking for. He was looking for move-in ready. So, I think he also said he was from Pickering to Whitby, right? I could have went into the script. I grew up in those areas. I know this area very well. So I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you what's a good area where your money will work harder for you, or
Mm-hmm.
not as not a desirable area to make, that won't make your money grow faster. So these are
Mm-hmm.
other ways that you can say if you don't have like the numbers.
Yeah. And you leverage your broker's information, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in what you did, I work for, one of the largest brokerages in this area. We have a good threshold on the listings here. We also, which also means that we have, a large group of realtors where we often have listings that aren't going to hit the MLS, and they're showcased to our clients prior to them ever even hitting the possible MLS service. This gives you an advantage as well of receiving some properties that you may not see or receive from any other realtor that may not be as within or working with for a dominant brokerage. So it's leveraging that, or the stats of your brokerage, right? We've sold X amount of houses in this area, that sort of thing, right? So it's leveraging what's behind you. And again, like as you said, your knowledge, right, in the area as well.
And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's just knowing that. And I think really if you really listen to that call, you can tell how comfortable I was. Like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
put on a voice. I didn't put on like, hey, how are you? Like I
Mm-hmm.
was just at first I thought he was a real estate agent. So at this point, I can't go back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so now I'm just, being real as, whatever, right? So and I could, it was on that call, it was good because it sounds like he's younger, like maybe less than 35 years old. So it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like, he's similar to my age bracket. So I could talk to him like the same way. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's also a really good, kind of gauge there too. So but
Yeah.
in that call, I was really confident,
Mm-hmm. Great.
right?
Great.
Saying bro, saying all these kind of things. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we wouldn't do that on every
It's
single call. But remember,
no, you have to know who you're talking to and adapt.
exactly.
Yeah, it's we all know it, right? There's certain people we speak differently to because we can,
Right.
right? Or, our guards kind of go down. It's still, we're trying to be relatable as possible to an individual when we are speaking with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Do we have like the script when you get somebody that says that they're just looking?
Yeah.
Because that's
I
a very
was gonna
common one, right?
yeah, I was gonna write a script, but I
Yeah.
pressed enter way too early. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So really your script is just looking as most people, and there's Nick may have a very different angle. Most people you are going to call are just looking. Okay. That's our natural response when somebody asks if they can help us with something. We all do it. This pull the layers back, thank them for like, well, I thank you for choosing my website to look at those properties. It really means a lot to me. How long have you guys been looking for? Right. And then just kind of steer into those questions. They're going to tell you how long. Okay. So, what do those plans look like? Do you guys currently own your home now? Just keep them talking. And if you can keep that conversation going and asking questions, sometimes you reveal that just looking actually means we're going to be moving this spring. Right. But right now we're just looking. So it's really just finding out what just looking means for each individual you talk to, because it's always going to be different. And Nick is writing his own little script.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it quickly for you guys. Well, not quickly. This is a really good script. But remember, like, okay, let's step back here. If you're looking for like, hey, I'm just looking, and like an objection to say whatever and to get a sale, like that's not happening, right?
No.
So remember, the I am just looking like objection is just trying to figure out what they're looking for and sending them a list of value. A list of value is a list of homes that they describe that will be interesting to them, that they are looking to move into next. So if you're sending them an item of value, right, that is what you're doing at this stage, rather than saying, no, I do not want anything from you. So that is kind of the objection on how you would deal with this and the mindset on that. Because it's going to be very rare that someone says that and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm buying a house right now. They're just early in their stage.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like shift and enter because I'm making kind of like quick little, not paragraphs, but 3 or 4 sentences each.
Control enter, I think.
Control enter. Oh, you are right. Thank you. But if anyone else has other questions, while I just write this for everyone, just put them in the chat and
Yeah. Do you leave phone messages, Nick, when you call your leads? Or how often would you leave a phone message? Or what does that look like if you do leave a phone
I don't
message?
know. So I know Crystal, you don't like to leave phone messages, and I've always just tried to, and if they call back, they call back. I think phone messages are good if you know how to do it. Like, meaning like I suck. I don't suck, but I need to make it a little bit more interesting and better. But when I do leave voicemails and stuff, because at least next time, hopefully, if they do answer my call, they'll connect who I called before. And hopefully at that point I put a good impression to them that they are open to talking to me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I do that. I mean, it's up to you, and you can keep letting them guess who it is and calling. So I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. And you can do the whole, like, if you're calling, I always say at least try, if you're consistent with your calls and you keep calling, many of that, the curiosity will get them to answer the phone if you're consistent enough, because they start to recognize that phone number. Another method of leaving a voice message is not really letting them know what you're calling about. Hey Nick, it's Crystal. Give me a call back when you have a chance. Right? We're not saying why. We've called them a few times. Hey Nick, I tried calling a few times. Do you mind giving me a call back when you have a chance? Right? They don't know it's Crystal. They don't know who Crystal is. Right? But they may call back out of curiosity. Who the heck is Crystal? Or the next time you call, they're going to be mindful of the phone number that's popping up on the screen. They're like, I got to figure out who this Crystal person is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But that's where if you could leave a voicemail and then leave like good text messages, maybe it come together. But I don't know. It really depends. Really, what you want to do on that voicemail is intrigue them to call you back. And like I do get that sometimes, but it doesn't happen all the time. But think about this. There's some people that check their voicemails every day. And then there's some people that are extreme like me that never check their voicemails. Because like I voice to text, or like if I don't have that, everyone texts me. If someone doesn't answer my when I call someone and they don't answer, I usually send them a text. So that's kind of like my voicemail. But at least it's like thought out rather than me being like, oh, leave something. It's like, oh, hey. I don't really know what to say.
There is an art to leaving voice messages,
100%.
and some people are good at really doing to get the callbacks, right? It's like creating a sense of urgency, or not necessarily a sense of urgency, but something that they would want to call you back for, right? There's a reason, there's something in it for them to call you back. Right. Exactly. So just remember that, like, hey, I just seen you online, I'd be happy to update your search. That's generally not going to get a call back because it's just so generalized, right? But hey, I noticed that you're looking at properties in Clarington, price between this. I've got a pocket listing that you might want to, I want to share with you because I don't think it's going to last long. There's a little bit of urgency. There's something that they're not going to see elsewhere. They might just call you back. That's just kind of like a lame example, but something that would interest them in wanting to call you back.
It's true.
So it's thinking a little bit outside the box when you're doing that. There's probably whole coachings out there on leaving voice messages, right?
Yes. And like honestly, my goal is I kind of make it a game to be like, okay, Nick, what am I going to say better this time? And like try to figure it out. So, I think you just have to have fun with it. I mean, lead genning is tough. It's hard. Some days you don't want to do it, but you're building that, routine and that discipline. So you just come in and come out. And really, if you do that, if you say what you're going to do and you do lead genning at least 2 or 3 hours a day, in my personal opinion, there's no way that you'll do less than like 2 deals a month if you legit lead gen every single day, 5 days a week, 2-3 hours a day. There's no way. And the reason why people don't do well is because they forget to lead gen, and then they get scared to lead gen, and then they don't want to, and then you're just on database and referral, and then you start slowly getting out of the business.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent a text message back. So if you're looking for the just I'm looking, this is what I said. I said I can totally understand that you're just in the information stage and browsing the marketplace to see what is available. I would too. My goal is to ensure that you're viewing homes that you do want to see from the list that I'm sending you. Is there a certain area that you're looking to live in? So you can see that it's like, okay, I understand. Cool, great. My goal is to make sure the reason why I'm sending you is this to make sure you're seeing what you want. So that's value. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking a question. Okay, where do you want to live in? So now it's
Mm-hmm.
engaging, right? It's not a
Yeah.
yes. It's like, where do you
Yeah.
want to live? Then
PR.
the
Yeah.
next question would be like, okay, how many bedrooms? How many bathrooms minimum?
Mm-hmm.
I usually
Mm-hmm.
say, are you looking for 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms minimum? Because I feel like everyone is looking for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's keeping them going. So like one of the things with the just looking, a lot of us do stumble on that because we don't know what to say or how to keep that conversation going. But once you learn your scripts and get comfortable with them and how to react and respond to that, you'll actually find that a lot of these conversations that become more meaningful. Because, and again, if we're coming from that customer service standpoint, we're not here to sell you anything. The leads walls will start dropping because they realize that, hey, this person isn't calling to just sell me something, right? They're calling to actually assist and help facilitate something, and they're aware that I'm not moving right now, right? So it takes the pressure off of that call, and they, some of them, I'm sure Nick, you can agree that those conversations can actually be quite extensive. They're more willing to talk to you and share more details because they don't feel like it's going to be used against them, or they're like going to be pressured
Yeah.
into something they're not ready for yet, things like that.
Yeah. I think really I think this is a great exercise if you're looking to get better at your sales game, or not even sales. I don't want to say sales, but like helping people find solutions. Okay. I think that what you should do is since now's the time that, it's Christmas, people are shopping. I think you should go to different brands, different stores, different industries. And I think you should see how people pitch you and see how corporations are like dealing with this, right? Because remember, corporate people are all structured and like they're teaching their salespeople how to do it. And there's usually one salesperson that is really good. There's probably been a time where you've bought a car, or maybe you were a realtor and you bought a house through someone, or you even bought like a handmade gift from something, but the experience was so good and like you enjoyed that experience. I would try to like understand that experience and see what you can take away and how you can incorporate that into your business. Because like I said, the only difference between all of us is our value, our knowledge, like our expertise, and like who we are and why people want to work with you. We're at an age where people, before, when real estate happened, like there wasn't many representation. Now there's so many. So people had to go to people. Now we're at the age where people are picking, your consumer is picking you other than,
Mm-hmm.
so many agents.
Mm-hmm.
So we have
Yeah.
to understand that mentality where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you create a magnet? How do you become like a magnet to people to come to you so you don't have to lead gen? That only
Mm-hmm.
happens if you have a big database. And if you do, it's you positioning yourself as the professional, and not even that sometimes, like even as a friend, because no one wants to be just lectured, but as a friend. And I think we have to see ourselves as an advisor, meaning like, we are advisors. So if you see somewhere in the marketplace where, hey, this is a really good time to buy, like showcase some, like I would take like 5 listings that are really good, make a plan on why they are good, like write a quick little blurb and send it out to your investors. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you how to do deals like left, right, and center without like, we have to just really think of like other ways to make business. And I think that, people are lazy and then say the approach doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
If you got to keep trying, right? Just keep
and
trying. You'll find it. You'll find what comes naturally out of your mouth. Right
yeah,
now, all of us are different, right? So, and
right.
it's only through those processes. You guys, that's where the dialer also is of great assistance, because you can listen back at your calls. Like just like Nick is showcasing his calls, you can listen back at your calls and see how you could have changed things differently with different responses that you're getting. And it will take time and practice, but once you get it, you'll be that much more comfortable on the phone, and it becomes easy breezy. Right? It's just a matter of doing it.
Easy breezy cover girl.
Yeah, right. You're flipping your hair.
Right? Exactly.
You're like,
I'll
you're gonna
flip my little hat.
You'll be on
Um,
the, that goal, the top realtors this month, right?
right?
The
Exactly.
brokerage, they all do that, right? So it's
Exactly.
trying to, being proud of yourself and hitting those little,
Exactly.
milestones. And sometimes it's just learning how to talk to people. And we can only do that by talking to people,
I totally
right?
agree.
So there's no textbook on that.
I totally agree. And like,
Yeah.
remember, it sounds easy for me because I've been doing this day in and day out for 8 years.
Mhm.
So like I've already gone through so many objections, not all of them, because like there's definitely some that you still learn, especially with the new rules coming in. But once you learn, like just in anything, there's only a certain amount of objections. Once you understand your product and your service and how things work, it comes down to confidence and how you present,
Mhm.
right? So, and then like you put it all together, and this is who you get.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so yeah. So,
Absolutely.
has anyone else have any questions at all? Because I'm here for you guys. I know that it's Christmas and I know our holidays is coming upon us and I know that it's tough to work. I know I'm finding it tough, but I'm still showing up.
Mhm.
But is there anything that you're planning on for the next year or for the new year or, anything that you need? I'm here.
Oh,
Any wins? I know.
sorry.
No, no, I hear you.
It's a lot of us just like to take things in, but I think, after these calls, use it as motivation to kind of jump on the phone if you guys have time. Because if you're upbeat and you're listening, you're like, oh, there is promise in there. You'll notice as well your mood plays a big role in how our conversations go. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have to be able to self kind of look in and be like, today I am having a horrible day. I'm in the worst mood ever. Probably not the best day to call my leads,
Yeah,
right? Because every little thing might irritate us, or that our tones are going to be different, or the motivation and excitement in our voices are going to be dull. It's not going to be there, right? So it does play an impact. So after these, if they are motivating and you have the time, by all means, call your leads, because that does transpire when you are speaking to people.
I agree. And just reading Nathan's message here. It's true. Like, and this is the thing. When you're in a bad mood, I think like, this is what it is. And let's be real with one another. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
real with everyone here, like I always am. But real estate is hard. And like
Mm-hmm.
not like just hard, but it's like it's hard because it's like you're dealing with if you choose to be bold and you choose to build a business
Mm-hmm.
properly, you're gonna have to prospect. And prospecting is not easy. Like I remember like I was brutal. But after you have experience and you keep showing up every day for yourself, like we're in this business to like change our lives, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
have the opportunity and tools to do that. But the only way it starts is like learning the business and like prospecting and like getting things done and like getting our feelings hurt. And like it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to prospect to hear no's every day and get kicked in the face every day. Like guys,
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is. But just like being new in anything, or if you're our season and you're getting back into it and you want to crush it next year, it's like you have to go through that pain and build that tolerance again. It's easier when you're showing up every day because you're creating consistent patterns, which will bring confidence every day. And once you do it long enough, it becomes second nature, right? Where it just naturally happens. And I think during the holidays it's even harder because this is when we wind down. Our vices come out, we're chilling, we don't want to do anything, and whatever, fine. But I think understanding the new year, at least start making a plan of like where do you want to be. Like remember the reasons why you got into real estate. And like this is a thing, once you prospect and you choose to do this for yourself, and you choose to win, then like you can change your life. Like I've changed
Mm-hmm.
my life so fast, and it's all thanks to real estate and like me showing up for myself. But if you want to change your life, like when you're feeling bad, like have a conversation, understand what your why is, take an extra hour, but don't do your call. Like don't not do your calls because you're in a shitty mood,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like
Yeah.
things get harder, right? And it only gets easier when you have daily wins. And like
Yeah.
in this business, you need to have like some sort of like this rolling like pushing a snowball. Once you first do it, it's hard, but as it goes, you need
Goes
your
in surge.
momentum.
Yeah.
You need your
Yeah.
momentum to
And your
keep
daily wins don't have to be significant, right?
right.
It could be someone that agreed to you to sign up for your newsletter, or you're door knocking and they want to do street match or whatever. It's a small win. It doesn't have to be this big, oh, I got the listing. Like, of course, if we could do that every day, that would be amazing.
Right.
But they just have to be small wins, things, a little accomplishment, something that you feel accomplished in. And that's a win. Right? Like, as long as you feel that little sense of accomplishment, like you accomplished something, or something positive, looking on the positive aspect of it, then
Right.
just keep going.
And once you keep doing that, agents in your office like myself and like other top agents, they get a call. Oh, hey, I need you to list my house. And you're like, oh, how do they get all these easy wins? It's like, no, it's not easy. It's I showed up, I built that relationship. Now they're ready to go. I'm that person. So, that's how, the more that you prospect and the more that you lead gen, every day does get easier because you've already put seeds in the ground that are going to grow. So if you've been prospecting and showing up and doing what you're going to say for 2 years, you are going to be rewarded. And like when you get rewarded, that's life-changing money that you can have for your family, or build your portfolio, or buy a car, or like upsize, or like dad or kids or other sister, whatever. Like opportunity is here. And I feel that so many people let it slip away because of the bullshit. So
no, absolutely.
anyways,
Absolutely.
that was the real talk, guys.
Good.
The real talk.
I'm gonna have to bounce off personally in a minute. Nick is gonna finish the webinar, but just going to this question of like, what after several calls they don't answer you? Do you keep sending them information via email about properties they're looking? 100%. If they're looking at properties and they're doing things, they may not just be ready to talk to you yet. Right? So if you're personally going in there, try not to focus on the people that aren't responsive to us. We tend to focus like, why do they keep looking at listings and they're not answering me? They will respond when they're ready to respond. So, and it just gets you a little more frustrated that they're not responding. You have, several other people we could be focusing our energy on. But it doesn't harm you to keep this person receiving listings. You're not sitting there manually sending them listings every day. It's all automated. Right? And yes, if they look at a property, but again, if we don't know where they're at in the process, and every time they look at a property, you're saying, hey, can I get you information on this? Hey, can I get you on that? That's more of a sales standpoint, right? Where this person, we don't know, they may be planning a move sometime next year, but now we're coming across as a little bit aggressive, trying to get them to pursue a property that they're not anywhere near ready to take action on. So just be mindful of how you're approaching that if we haven't had a conversation with them. But by all means, don't. You've already paid for the lead. It doesn't hurt you to keep them in there receiving listings. They are on drips, or if they should be on drips. If you haven't created a follow-up, maybe you already talked to them, put them on a create a follow-up drip that assists you, but do your follow-ups with them, and don't be so caught up in the fact that they may not always be as responsive as we want them to be. This is their show, not ours, right? We have to facilitate when they want to move, when they're ready to respond to us, not because we want them to. Exactly. But it doesn't do you any harm to keep all that going in there. No. But I'm going to leave. I do have to run a couple minutes early here today. Nick is going to close it down. He'll take care of you. Me? No. Awesome. But I hope everyone, I'm not sure. I think this is probably the last one that we have. Yeah, because we're closed down that next week. So we'll see you all in the new year. So hope all of you have a fantastic holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year. And we'll see you all next year.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So it's just us. Okay. So let's go back to some of these calls, these messages. So going to Gustavo again, what if several calls don't answer you? Do you keep sending information via email about the properties they're looking for? So this is interesting. If you've never talked to them before and they're looking at the emails, but they're never answering your calls, I would look at a few things. Number one, I would look at when are you calling them? If you're calling them at the same time every day, change that time. Number two, If you are calling at different times and they are not, then I would take a look at, see what they're looking at, and then I would send them a message through your direct line. If you're not going to use agent, like I would do it on my direct line, be like, hey, it's Nick Moretti. Just want to share this listing with you. I think it's something that you may really like. Take a look at these three. Let me know what you think. Do you see how much more powerful that is? I think you have to really understand that, like, people don't want to find the information for themselves. People want it solved, right? So if you can find what they're looking for, our job is to really go to all of our buyers and all of this and be like, hey, these are our top picks. Hey, this is the top pick. Hey, these are the top pick. Which one do you like? That is going to make people more motivated and trust you and see you as an advisor. And if you're doing these things, they're going to naturally use you. You're making it so much easier. So that's what I would be doing. If you've sent that a couple times, they haven't answered, okay, let's say you send that text message out. If they didn't answer, I would call in 2 days and then see what happens. But I would call on the agent locator line. If they don't answer that in the next 2 days, I call in your direct line and see if they answer. And if they don't, then I would keep doing the process. I would repeat it in 2 weeks. So that's what I would do. So going to Robert's question, do I leave phone messages on their answering service? Yes, I do. Not on all of them, but my goal is to try to make my voicemail messages much more intriguing so they can call me back, because I just need them to talk to me. So that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm doing that. What do my messages look like? Okay. So if we're just on the buying side where they're just on our website, I'd be like, hey, Robert, hope you're doing well. It's Nick Moretti calling. I mean, really, I shouldn't even be saying this, but this is kind of what I leave, and sometimes it does work. But hey, Robert, it's Nick Moretti. Hope you're doing well. Just want to let you know, I've been seeing a few properties I just sent over to you that I think is a good fit. Let me know when you're available to chat. Talk to you soon. Something like that. It doesn't work all the time, but yeah, so that's kind of that. So with the new law information guide that we are not allowed to help unless we have a connection with the clients, what would you do? Would you still send them info even if it's against Tressa's new rules? So, I mean, I don't think it's against it. I think we have to understand who is who is going to be represented. So if they're going to represent themselves, then yeah, you can't help them. You treat them like an agent. But if they are, then meaning they want to work with you, then continue. So this is the thing. Let's not get wrapped around the new rules. Okay. The new rules are just making it more definable about who's using who and how things are working. At the end of the day, business is still the same. If you're an honest realtor like myself, if you're doing business to the best of your ability and for the best of your client like myself, then there shouldn't be any issues about all this. I have so many people in my brokerage that are kind of stressing out, and in other brokerages and other agents, but I feel like we're all kind of getting so defined on the little tiny things. It's not tiny, but the smaller things. So I would ask, so if they're coming onto your website and they've given you their information and they've added a search, they're looking on your website for homes, they're already, click the box on hey, you're getting, things sent to you. So I think at the end of the day, if that's the case, you're going to treat them like a normal person. As you get deeper into the conversation, and when you're going to go show properties, then you're saying hey, the new rules have changed. It just allows me to ask if, buyers are representing themselves. And if you are, then I treat you like an agent. If you're not, then everything's still the same and I can still help you. And then if you find out that they're an agent now or they want to represent themselves, then see you later. Right? And then if they're saying, yeah, no, I don't want to represent myself. No, I think it just comes down to scripting. It's these are the new rules. I have to ask before we are going to see a property if you're representing yourself or you're not. Oh, what does that mean? Well, it's just like going to court. If you're going to court, would you not hire a lawyer? Or if you're going to have surgery, would you not hire a doctor to help you? Exactly. So, everything is still the same. I just have to ask if you're representing yourself or, if you're working with me. That's it. I don't think we should be scared if solidifying our relationship with our client. People, if they're going to want to work with you, they're going to want to work with you. If they're responding back to you and they're engaged and they're talking to you, and if they don't want to commit, okay, see you later. Hey, why don't you want to commit? If you don't mind me asking. Is it because you've had a bad experience and now like that bad experience makes you want to represent yourself? But do you realize that if you represent yourselves, there's a whole other jargon of how real estate works, clauses, what you can and can't do, how not to get sued? Do you realize how that operates? And if they say no, then or yes, I still want to represent myself. No problem. Well, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. But if you change your mind, I'll circle back in a month or two to see if you change your mind, because it is tough out there. That's why real estate is a 90% failing rate. I mean, you don't have to go in that hard, but I just think that the people who are going to represent themselves are the people who are already doing it now, which are some investors. B, I would say they're more so like FISBO people who want to like represent themselves because they're going to do them. I'm going to save money, but like, anyways. So there's so many things, right? I feel like the people who are going to represent themselves, you already know when you talk to them because they're like, no disrespect, but they're losers. They're like assholes. They're like, they think they know the fucking world and they don't know shit. And now they can represent themselves, not know shit, and then fuck up on the deal. And then when they're in court, be like, hey, I didn't know better. But it's like, too bad. So I think the question that you can tell people is like, do you know how this works? Because if you don't, then like, why would you want to represent yourselves? Why wouldn't you want someone who does this day in, day out to represent yourself, who has the numbers, who has the stats? If you don't have that, then you can say other things. But, I just think that we have to like really, really understand that business is the same as usual. It's just a different paperwork to sign or an added paperwork to sign. Don't be scared. Just let people know what it is. I feel like a lot of realtors just like try to hide in the shadows before they come up and say, oh yeah, hey, let's do this now. But like, be upfront, people. Let people know what it is. Let people make their decisions. And if that scares you, then that means you need to get better. And that's good. That's great that you have that awareness. Now it's time to get some coaching or like figure it out. Go to your brokerage, see if there's some training. Like, this is what it is. But that's pretty much it. But if you have any other questions, I can take some. But if not, then I think that we can all jump off here. And I hope everyone has a great holiday with their family. And if you're working, great. If you're not, enjoy it to the fullest, because I feel like next year is going to be a busy year. So get your rest, start planning for your business, start seeing where you want to go. If you didn't do great this year or you want to do better, just plan it and show up for your plans. I need to do that too sometimes. I'm not that, like, I mess up too. It's hard. But you know what? As long as you're willing to grow every day and recognize where you're wrong and understand how to get better, hey, you can't get mad. And remember, the only thing that's going to get you off your goals, or the only thing that's going to keep you on your goals, is your why and why you're doing this shit and why you want to go and why you want to get there. You have to be your own motivator and fire yourself up. If not, it's even easier now with technology. Go on TikTok, save some videos, save some motivation videos, save anything that gets you fired up to make your calls or whatever you need to do. So, but if there's no other questions, then I think we're out of here. I hope everyone found some value on this call. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great holiday and enjoy it. If you guys don't have any other questions. Nope. All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. If you have any questions, hit me up on Moretti Real Estate on Instagram. I'll help you out. And I hope everyone have the great holidays. It's like my 8th time saying it. So enjoy and have a great day.